Hello, and the song that we're going to be looking at today needs absolutely no introduction. Now, I would never make it as a DJ, obviously, with those kind of editing skills of bringing in the track and missing the top, but you know what I'm talking about. It's the fabulous Changingman from the Paul Weller album Stanley Road, which came out quite a long time ago. First track on the album, and one of my absolute faves to play, and I love the record. It's a really great record. So a little bit about the background of the record. Brendan Lynch was messing about in his little room at Solid Bond, coming up with various ideas, and Paul was writing lyrics to them. And this demo kind of suddenly appeared, and I really loved it. It's no great secret that it was based on an ELO tune, 10538 Overture. They took the riff and they put some programmed drums on it, and that's what hip-hop artists do all the time, so I don't really have a problem with that. But the tune came from it, and pretty soon it was obvious that it was going to be quite a powerful contender. Now, let's just talk about the drumming, and if anyone is interested, there is a full transcription of the song, and maybe we will be giving a transcription away to accompany this little video, a little PDF. And that's from The Art of Drumming, which was co-written by myself and Russ Tarley. So I kind of took a little bit of the influence of what was on the original program track, which was quite sort of linear and quite sort of, there wasn't many fills going on, and I thought that really worked. So my embellishment was to introduce the little 30-second note roll that so many drummers do kindly comment about. So the thrust of the groove was not an eighth note groove, it was a quarter note groove. The hi-hat was just playing simple 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have to say, I borrowed more than an ounce of the influence of the great Simon Kirke with that particular track, and it was almost reminiscent of his drumming on the Free song All Right Now, which is one of my all-time favourites, and Simon, who played with Bad Company and Free, is an absolutely fabulous drummer. So there's a little element of a little nod to his kind of style in the playing with that quarter note hi-hat. The bass drum's quite driving, it's quite sort of eighth note led, with a little 16th note embellishment that comes around every 2 bars, and then the 30-second note roll, which leads into various sections throughout the song, but I'll talk about that in a second. But this is the thrust of the main groove. And there it is, that little roll. Now, I've heard this done many times with drummers, and sometimes they kind of just go for it and hope to come out on one. Now, my tip for that would be to pay attention to your subdivisions. If you have a tempo, then work out the ratio of the subdivisions that you play in terms of playing rolls. If you were playing eighth notes, eighth note triplets, sixteenth notes, 16th note triplets, and then 32nd notes. So I'm playing 32 notes in the space of 1 bar. And that's what I did on Changingman. I played a 30-second note subdivided roll when it came to the ends of those little sections. So it sounded like this. And sometimes there wasn't even a cymbal crash. I wanted to keep it as tight as I possibly could. I like the idea of the drums being fairly sort of rock in a solid way, because I felt that the lyrics about Changing Man and shifting sands, things like that, were quite sort of evocative, and I just thought to countenance that, just to keep the drums as solid as possible. That was just my sort of musical call on that particular track. So as we lead up to the chorus, I drop the little skip on the bass drum, and just go to a full-on sort of pounding eighth note. And then we're into the chorus. And essentially all I do on the chorus is play the same groove, but I'm really kind of larruping the bell. I'm really sort of hitting the bell of the cymbal, and just kind of carrying on with that, that quarter note, that insistent quarter note groove. And those are the kind of three components, really. Those are the main sort of components of the song. It's fairly simple. There is one little deviation in that I play the cowbell on the middle eight. I played that cowbell, that particular cowbell, which is here on my drum set. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just kind of lift it up for you to see it. There it is, a little cowbell on a little stand. But that was my touring cowbell for very, very many years. It's an LP Black Beauty. Now, the thing about the middle eight on this particular song is that I actually switched, and instead of leading with my right hand, which would have been quite complicated, I actually played the cowbell. I played the cowbell with my left hand, and the idea being that I didn't have to sort of get tangled up when I was trying to sort of play across the hi-hat. So that was just something that I did, and the cowbell was set up in this particular position. So not only is this the cowbell that I actually used for the Changingman recording and all throughout my time with Paul Weller, but the snare drum that I have here, which I think you can see a little bit of, is a very, very special drum. You might see that it has a Premier Modern Classic badge on it. This is a prototype that the great Johnny Craviotto built for me, which was intended to join the Modern Classic range of Premier snare drums. We did a limited edition of 50 or 100 maple and a few of a different wood. I think it might have been cherry or walnut. I don't have one, so but this was the drum that Johnny made for me, and essentially reconstructed a 1930s Radio King in his style, and we were going to put this into this collaboration between Premier and Craviotto, but various reasons it didn't actually happen. But I still have the drum. This was my go-to drum between 2001 and 2007. Every single Paul show was done on this drum, including the amazing Hyde Park concert that we did in the scorching heat of 2001, I think. So this got some history, this drum, but it really, for me, I'm very affectionate because I know that my friend Johnny made this drum with me in mind, just for me, and it really means a lot to have it. This drum not only did all the Paul stuff, but also was at Hyde Park again for the Who, when I sat in for Zach and we did the Live Aid concert at Hyde Park in the 2000s. So it's got some history. It's a beautiful drum. It's pretty much, as I say, a replica of a 1930s Radio King that Johnny made for me, and I absolutely love it, and it brings back really fond memories of a really, really great guy. It's a great drum, really fat. Paul used to love it, and I used to crank it up a little bit because it's a 7-inch shell, and really you could really hit it in the middle of the drum. It's got a real crack to it. It's a beautiful instrument. So that's my kind of one-off Craviotto snare drum. So yeah, this is stuff that's got a little bit of history. The track, as I say, drummers seem to really like this one, and I understand that. I think it's a really cool song. That's the most important thing, and I'm just really glad that I could contribute to such great music. So just to put a few of the ideas together, I used to play this one match grip quite a lot because just sort of laying into it. So I'll probably do that now. We always used to call this 3/4 when it was in the set. It was very sort of really written into the set. It was kind of towards the end. It was just like one that we might maybe sort of throw in, just depending on the audience reaction. Paul would just go 3/4, and I would just go. So that's Changingman. I hope you've enjoyed this little lo-fi session. I'll be back very, very soon for some more. Stay safe and I'll see you very soon.